Hello, BookTube. This is a excuse me, Friday Reads. It's two videos that I'm putting out this week. Notice my hair looks funny. My hair. Oh well, who cares? I don't. No, I was just remembering the line from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" And I forget the actor's name or the character's name, but I remember the uh, hair palm that he used, the grease. It was Dapper Dan. Right. Okay. Now, what I've read this week, then it's wasn't quite as I'd hoped it to be. I hope I would read more than just science fiction, but that's all I read this week for New Worlds November. In case you're not interested in those videos, or if you have, this is a bit of a repeat. So, hey. Anyway, I read some short stories. The Star Stealers by Edmund Hamilton, published 1929. It's in the big book of science fiction by Anne and Jeff Vandermeer. The Ultimate Collection. Well, that's debatable, but it is a very good collection. It's very big. It's 1,200 pages plus. No, just under 1,200 pages. Double columned, published in 2016. Yes, July 2016 by Vintage Books. And then I read the original Who Goes There by John W. Campbell in his collection called Who Goes There and Other Stories. And the novella was originally published in 1938. And this was published in 1948. The collection, this is a reprint by Golan's. So, and then, I haven't, I'll show what and then I read The Creator by Clifford Simak. It was published originally in 1935. It's a short story. It's in this collection edited by Mike Ashley, The Mammoth Book of Extreme Science Fiction. These are all for Aliens Week. Then I started, this is the extended version, Frozen Hell, of Who Goes There by John W. Campbell. And this was put out by Wildside Press in 2019. And it was the longer manuscript that was found. This will be for my book to film, which I hope to be able to be done tomorrow. I'm still actually reading this, so it's been a rough last couple days. Hasn't been the greatest. I was doing okay up until sort of Wednesday, late Wednesday. So things sort of slowed down then, and Thursday wasn't the greatest. But yeah, so I'm hoping to get this done. It's a wonderful little paperback, lovely artwork on it. Now, I also started dipping into other things, mostly about the writers that I was reading. So, Edmund Hamilton, but then I got sidetracked and read other things. Not sure if this is the volume with it. Yes. This is Seekers of Tomorrow, published in 1966 by Sam Moskowitz. It's little essays that he wrote, sort of biographical and a bit critical on a number of science fiction writers. It's called Masters of Modern Science Fiction, but remember, this is 1966. And he's got an essay about Edmund Hamilton, which is the Star Stealers. Also, Clifford Simak, which I'd sort of refreshed my memory on. I've read all these before, but I reread a bunch of others too. So I was reading the John W. Campbell one, the John Wyndham, Doc Smith, Murray Leinster, Jack Williamson, Lester Del Rey, A. Van Vogt. I read a whole bunch of them anyway. So that sidetracked me for a little while. And then there's this series. There's 3 volumes to this. This is volume 3. No, this is volume one. Edited by Thomas D. Clarison. It's very plain. It's by Bowling Green University Press, the popular Bowling Green University Popular Press, and it's an edited collection of critical essays for the most part on a number of writers. And I reread the Simak section, and I dipped into a couple others like Olaf Stapleton, Jack Williamson, Ray Bradbury, Henry Kuttner. So I had enjoyed that. And also here too is another. It's about the only standalone book that I'm aware of, and I don't believe there's anything else about the writings of Clifford Simak by Robert J. Ewald. When the fires burn high and the wind is from the north. It's the first line from the editorial section of City, the first line of the book. And this is published by Borgo Press, which is Wildside Press. They bought the press, and they now use it as an imprint from Wildside Press. So I dipped into a few bits and pieces of Simak. This was published in 2006. And also too, I was dipping into this wonderful book, Before the Golden Age. Let's put the best I can do. Not the best of covers. Before the Golden Age, collected in autobiographical introductions by Clifford Simak. It's really good. It's a really good collection if you want some good stuff from pre-1938, basically, from the 20s and the 30s. Mostly concentrating year by year for the 30s, with a little bit talking about the 1920s. But it's a very good collection. And yeah, I was also dipping in. This is one of the other volumes of the Voices for the Future, Essays of Major Science Fiction Writers. This is volume 2. And then there's volume 3, Voices for the Future, all edited by Thomas Clarison. So that was... Also, too, I re-looked at a little bit the Mike Ashley's History of Science Fiction Magazines, just to look up the magazine that the creator was published in, published in the. Brain's gone. Marvel Tales of Fantasy or Science Fiction and Fantasy. Or science fantasy, however it's termed. I'll put this up here because it's a bigger book, and it could sit there well, I think. And then next week, I will be reading a few other things for robots / AI, and the Simak story I will be reading. I might read a couple if I get time, because his stories permeate. Robots permeate many of the stories, and they're really good. But I'm going to do all the Traps of Earth for sure, and this is in I Am Crying All Inside and Other Stories, the complete short fiction of Clifford D. Simak. And this was edited by David W. Wixon, the executor of the Simak estate. And there's 12 volumes, 8 is in paper, and 4 are in ebook form, which really, really irks me. I wish they were all in paperback. But the other one, Skirmish, original title, Bathe Your Bearings in Blood, is in volume 10, I think, and that's ebook. And I'll be reading another robot story, short story, by Iando Binder, called I, Robot. And that was published in 1939 by Amazing Stories. It's I, Robot, and it's before Asimov's I, Robot story. And it's part of a series that Iando Binder, which are two brothers, their pseudonyms, for two brothers that wrote together initially, and then one of the brothers left, and the other, he kept the pen name going into the 50s and 60s a little bit. And this is edited by, or compiled by Samuel Moskowitz. I won't say edited because it's editor's choice. It was a little different for the time, and this is McBride and Company, 1954. This is an original edition, really nice dust jacket. I'm really pleased with this one. And it's the editors of the magazines that chose stories to be put in here. So that is quite nice. So that is the two science robot ones. And then my book to film, and I've said this a few times, it's a bit of a cheat. It's going to be Arthur C. Clarke's 2001 A Space Odyssey. Now, it's originally based on a story called The Sentinel, which is in Arthur C. Clarke Collected Stories. It's a hefty book, 966 pages. And it's loosely based on it. It doesn't really have any, I don't think, robots or AI in it. If I remember right, it's a long time since I read it. But I will be reading that, even so, because it's part of the book to film. But I will be reading 2001 A Space Odyssey. This is the 50th anniversary edition. Didn't realize there was a big crease in the cover. This is Orbit. And it just comes in just a smidgen under 250 pages. I think it's 249 to 48 pages in the without the introduction. Now, this definitely does fit in for New Worlds November, page count, just barely, and the AI, HAL. But it's a bit of a cheat because I'm using, for short story, the Sentinel, but I'm also going to use this as my book to film. Now, the film was based, or loosely based on the Sentinel, and the book was written at the time of the film. So it's a bit of a cheat for my book to film, because this is sort of film/book at the same time. But we'll get away from that. It'll be discussed in the video a week from tomorrow. So I'm hoping tomorrow to have up the book to film, The Thing from Another Planet, based on John W. Campbell's Who Goes There and it's based on Who Goes There, not from Hell, but I'm reading from Hell just to look at the differences between the stories, because it's one of my favorite science fiction stories. So we'll be doing that tomorrow, fingers crossed. If not tomorrow, it will be up on Sunday, but I'm really hoping that I can get it done tomorrow. Sort of knock on wood and everything's okay. I get enough rest that I can actually finish reading. I've got about 100 pages-ish, I think, to go, which isn't much, but at my slow reading pace, it could take a while. So that's my Friday reads. And if are you participating in November, New Worlds November? And if you're not, why? But I'd like to hear what you're reading. So do comment below, and or send me an email, and we can see what you're reading. And I hope, and I keep saying, and if you're not reading Simak, why? Is the other question. Clifford D. Simak is, you may not have noticed, but he's my favorite science fiction writer. It may have come out in a few of the videos, but may not, so I need to say it every so often. Anyway, have a good weekend, and if you are participating in New Worlds November, I hope you're enjoying. If you are a veteran in reading science fiction, or if you're new to science fiction, I hope you're enjoying what you're reading. Take care, BookTube.